I want to share something with you all in the hopes of either putting my fears to rest or confirming them and getting useful advice. I only ask that you fully commit to one side of the fence. I'm being genuine here. So, I work as the night auditor for two separate hotels. They're different corporate names, but the same property management firm owns both of them, which can be confusing when I'm told to list my current employer on a job application. I'm seeking employment elsewhere, and while what's happening to me isn't the primary reason, chalk that up to the shit hours and poor pay, it is compelling me to speed up my search. Working graveyard shift is actually something that I really like to do. There's a serenity that comes with the shift, assuming day shift hasn't royally fucked up and people actually stay in their rooms at night. Most nights, it's a cakewalk. Check in the last couple of late arrivals, do the audit, which takes about 30 minutes, and then basically just wait for morning. This last part can be tedious, and even with my laptop and phone with me, it's hard to stay awake some nights. I should probably explain that I and my wife have a toddler who I watch during the day, and while our folks do take turns watching her in the afternoon for me so I can get some sleep, I still only manage to get around 3 to 4 hours or so on work days. I make it all up on the weekends, though. I'm a few years shy of 30, but the best thing in the world to me is a nap. Seriously, after some nights setting my head down on a pillow is better than sex. This would be impossible for me if it weren't for those little energy shots. You know, the ones that advertise everywhere as having no crash afterwards. I live on those things. One each night. I usually take them at around 4 a.m. When I'm about to hit the wall, and without fail, the insane proportions of vitamin B packed into every plastic bottle wakes me up like it's noonday after a full 8 hours. It's probably terrible for me, but you do what you have to. I only mention it because it feels like something to include in case there's a somatic explanation for what's been going on. Anyway, enough stalling. I'm not going to beat around the bush. In my sleepy haze during the quiet times at the hotel, I've been seeing things. Not ghouls or ghosts or anything like that, at least I don't think so, but definitely something. I should probably mention that I'm a horror junkie, and I have this terrible habit of listening to Creepypasta on my shift to kill time. Yes, listen, I do have to watch the security cameras and do a lot of math when I actually work, so I don't often have time to read. I figured the first few times I saw these shades, it was just a trick of the mind. Well, no shit, I'd say to myself, you're listening to horror stories, of course you're gonna be paranoid. But they got more and more persistent. It wasn't like I'd see a solid figure in the shadows or something darting around a corner. It was nothing so measurable. The things I see kind of resemble dust particles taking a silhouetted form that lines up for a split second it takes me to blink and refocus my eyes. Sometimes they're in my peripheral vision, which is why it was so easy to write them off as just floaters or something like that. But as I said, whatever these things were, they got bolder. I was opening the pantry to start the coffee for breakfast, and when I turned on the light, I saw one right in front of me, no more than about 3 feet away. It was just for an instant. Once my eyes adjusted to the sudden light, it was gone. But I know something was there. It's not just when I'm at work either. Yesterday afternoon at around 8 p.m., I was laying in the hammock out back at my parents' house. I've been stopping by in the mornings and evenings to feed their cats while they're away on a trip, and I like to lay in the hammock for about a half hour for some me time. My wife is cool with it, in case you're wondering. The light was just beginning to fade, hastened by the clouds we've had all week. I was just laying in the hammock, swaying gently, and looking up at the pale gray clouds through the dark branches. I closed my eyes for just a second, and was out like a light. It was just a power nap, like 15 minutes. I'd even set an alarm to wake me up just in case. I awoke, and in the haze, just before my eyes, I saw another one of those dust things in the branches. To say these things have human form is not really true. More often, they vaguely resemble parts of a human form, like a half-finished chalk outline. I'm trying to get a good beat on what they are, assuming they're anything more than the brief visual hallucinations of a sleep-deprived brain. If they are something I need to be wary of, I'd really like to know.